guys, long time no video. Every time I got a video planned, I drop small concept art and the idea ends up changing faster than I can make a video about it. So I've mostly been posting the artwork on my Twitter and in my YouTube community posts. While brainstorming for We Are the Hunt up to this point though, I was in a blue sky phase, meaning I was treating the sky as the limit, coming up with whatever ideas I had and seeing what sticks. Eventually though, I noticed that I was going down a similar slippery slope that Ruby did, which is scope bloat and a lack of direction. When anything goes, anything can get included, including anything that may take away from the core essence of your idea. I first made these characters in a vacuum. Basically, I first based them on Ruby characters, mixed in with some of my own preferences, or I'll just make these ones like Team Ruby, then just kinda see where it goes from there. And of course, with Ruby's massive cast, this of course led to juggling a lot of characters without any real idea what purpose they have in the story. Because the thing about completely open settings means that I can make whatever characters I want, but I don't exactly know what characters are important to the story or contribute meaningful, distinct roles in the story and the setting. A comparison I'd like to make is with High God, the game that infamously flopped some time back. There's many videos that better explain why High God failed in depth, but the gist of it was a very generic, unfocused game. It had elements that were perhaps cool in isolation. Some of the hero designs were not bad. The mounts were kind of cool, but put them all together and you just had an unfocused mess. Modern looking guns mixed with fantasy in a way that didn't feel cohesive or interesting, among other problems. Ruby is definitely not as bad as High God in that respect, but in many ways it's a mishmash of a lot of disparate ideas. Some of it ended up working well, yes, while some feel disconnected from the larger whole due to a combination of lack of solid art direction and overambition on Rooster part, which I want to prevent with my own story. So what I've compiled here is kind of a first primer for We Are the Hunt, sort of a compilation of the main canon concept so far and a rundown of the overall concept, world, and things like that to sort of summarize it for you all, since so far it's all just been kind of bits and pieces from art and characters. The spark. So the eureka moment that came to me while brainstorming the core direction for We Are the Hunt so far came after a period of looking back on what I liked most about shows that left an impact on me throughout the years. For Ruby, I didn't want to lift its cast or plot entirely, but rather the spark that hooked me into the show in the first place. I thought long and hard about it, and I found that the part that I loved most about Ruby, if I had to kind of condense it all into a specific time frame, was the initiation arc. There was something magical for me watching Ruby's initiation arc for the first time. The organic character interactions, the snappy, spontaneous dialogue, and of course the creative fight scenes. Thus, I found a direction to focus on. What if I take everything cool and everything I like about Ruby's initiation arc and structure the whole story around that idea? This allowed me to form a clear distinction in my mind. For example, I like the Beacon Academy sections in Ruby, like the lessons about the Grim and the sparring sessions, but they weren't my absolute favorite part. So I shouldn't make We Are the Hunt only about academy life, where everyone is just stuck in lecture rooms and dueling each other. That shouldn't be the main focus of the story. I like the tournament arc in Ruby, but I didn't want to make We Are the Hunt's main focus around tournaments, around structured fights in an arena. There was something about the initiation, the structure of it, exploring a difficult and unpredictable environment that forced each student to showcase their own unique ways of traversing these dangers, completing an objective alongside or against other teams, and encountering and working together against deadly threats. I knew then that I had to make this formula the core drive of We Are the Hunt, and anything else like academy life or tournament arcs are there to support that main pillar. So basic rundown of the setting. The surface of Earth is no longer safe for human civilization. All across the world, strange monsters of shadow and bone wander the surface called the Scar, an omnicidal swarm that evolves and grows stronger from anything it devours. To stop the spread of the scar and to save themselves, humanity retreated to the sky, or even to space itself, surviving on far-off suborbital cities and stations, an urban sprawl completed at the height of humanity's technological advancement just before the cataclysm struck. Over time, hunting the scar became not only a matter of survival, but a major economic driver to supply civilization, and a major source of entertainment for the small pockets of civilization left trapped in the sky. The profession of hunter becomes the most glamorous job of all, the legacy of a hero of old combined with the superstardom of a professional warrior, those blessed with supernatural powers to fight back the scar threat, whose mystical strength have been harnessed and commodified over time. Much of civilization is held together by powerful corporations called sponsors, whose vast global resources keep much of society intact where land borders and governments crumble under the scar threat. Foremost of these sponsors is the Aurora Group, which is the equivalent of the Shinra or Shinee Dust Company mega corporation in this world. Each day, hunters go on missions for their sponsors, their missions organized into elaborate, competitive hunts, all broadcast live for the world to see. These hunters work not only to train themselves and to supply the surviving settlements, but to also accrue wealth and reputation for themselves, keeping alive the greatest reality show on Earth. Hunters airdrop from the sky, descending down to the surface to secure supplies, compete against other hunters for rewards, and of course, hunt and kill scars. In turn, the sponsors back them with the best weapons, high-tech technology, and their also benevolent patronage. Hunters are grouped into orgs, which can be solo or squads of 3, 4, 5 or more. There's no set number. Some orgs are independently owned, while the best orgs are usually officially backed by wealthy sponsors, wearing that sponsor's logos and colors wherever they go. Hunters themselves can come from all ages and walks of life. They can be hard-boiled mercenaries earning a quick buck, celebrities live streaming their exploits for an eager public, or students of the Hunter Academy, where each new generation of hunters are trained and scouted by potential patrons. All the while, excited announcers and ever-present cameras follow the hunters' exploits across the ruined earth, documenting their hunts to provide the good people with hope for the future and entertainment for the present. Inspirations. Besides the obvious inspirations I always mentioned like Ruby and Zenless Zone Zero, this current direction that We Are the Hunt is taking is inspired by a mishmash of different influences. Among them are shooters like Marathon and The Finals. Both games are about you as a mercenary or a contestant doing missions and outcompeting each other for perks and benefits granted by shadowy, faceless benefactors whose interests you are forced to serve in order to get ahead. Yet they may end up being either a strong ally to make or a terrible enemy to face in the long run. Naturally, there will be a Shinee Dust Company equivalent, who will be the most prominent sponsor in this setting, the Aurora Group. The concept of sponsors also gets my mind thinking about not only potential allies and antagonists from a narrative or world-building standpoint, but also visually, what are their iconic colors and emblems, what industry have they monopolized in this post-apocalypse Earth. Working on this project led me down a rabbit hole of learning about graphic design, exercising my creative muscles in new different ways. By association, I've also taken a lot of inspiration from the world of competitive sports, namely esports. I want to explore themes about competition, rivalries, and alliances, about no-names and misfits joining together to make a name for themselves. The culture of esports is also rich with so much potential for hype moments and memes that I'd want to explore, outplays and innovations that redefine the so-called quote-unquote meta of monster hunting. I love the meta aspect that not only you as a viewer are invested in the lives of the characters, but also the announcers and audiences who follow and discuss these characters in universe. I've also been inspired lately by a lot more near future / sci-fi aesthetics, shows like Gundam Witch from Mercury and Gundam G-Quarks. I'm imagining the look of the main Hunter Academy as this sort of futuristic, sleek campus in the sky, similar to Astacasia Academy in Witch from Mercury, which I really like as a setting, because not only is it a place where tensions between students boil and erupt into all-out duels and wagers, it's also a backdrop for politics and power plays for the parents and guardians of these students working in the background. I also love how Xeno's Zone Zero implements the use of retro gadget aesthetics due to the use of analog technologies, making a resurgence due to the apocalypse taking out a lot of modern electronics infrastructure. I want to see how I can marry these two aesthetics together effectively. Characters. From this overall premise, I'm starting to have a pretty solid idea of what kind of characters work well in this setting, what sort of character arcs would happen here, so that's been very fruitful for me lately. So for example, some characters in the setting want to become hunters for the fame, to become celebrities and idols. Some want to be rich, taking a risk in order to win big. Some want to uphold the principles of the hunt itself and help humanity survive. Others still may have lost something or someone dear to the scar threat and become hunters in search of revenge or closure. So as for which characters have which motivations, that's what I'll be exploring from this point in future videos. But for now, I'll just cover the main character. So the main character is Ringo, formerly named Gale in previous videos. So Ringo is someone who has always dreamed of becoming a hunter, but her own lack of confidence leads her to second guess herself all the time. She does everything close to being one, so things like training by herself, making her own weapon, but she never quite takes that crucial first step towards her dream of being a hunter. It takes the events of the story to push her into it to start believing in herself and thus start her journey to become a pro hunter. That's the gist of the main girl. As for the other characters, I'm still working out who's who. I've got this big old mind map of characters connected to the protagonist, trying to cover a diverse set of relationships, motivations and dynamics. So once I confirm more of them, I'll cover them in a future We Are The Hunt video. But that's the summary of where We Are The Hunt's at right now. I'm still at the concept stage, so still lots more character designs, a lot more lore and aspects of the setting to finalize, but I also know enough at this point to start thinking about the actual story and possible character arcs for the important members of the cast. So look forward to more art as usual, and as always, thank you for watching.